The Allegroupe General CRM is the common portion for both the sales and admin CRM activities. This is where we actually will manage all the insurance data in regard with your clientele. For one, we will have the possibility of creating the company profile by simply filling in all the fields that you prefer to fill in. Now, obviously, we will create some default value for you. So for instance, if you want to have Allegroupe as a province, a default province of Ontario, for example, we will make that value, default value for you. Same thing with the language. We could have the system have the English language put in as default value for your clientele, again, depending on what type of clientele you have mostly. Then you are able to select from drop-down table the information about these are professionals, actuaries, and employee benefit advisor. Again, you can fill in as much information as you wish or as little as you want to, but we provide you with all the fields so that you will never have to worry about entering some information that you feel is important for you to keep. Then we go into the main activities, and this is where we are able to keep private notes or corporate notes about these clients. So this is, for example, corporate note, and we decide to add other stuff as we need to. Obviously, you might want to highlight those texts a little, so therefore we do have a rich text editor that will allow you to take that same text and give it a little bit more pizzazz, more jazzy, and you simply go in and change whatever is needed. So you could decide to have a silver color, you could decide to center this text, you could decide to change the size of the character that you want. Now, the Allegroupe General CRM allows you to manage and keep within your file all the needed information in regard with Allegroupe demo. Therefore, every single piece of material that you need to save will be allowed to be saved within this document. For instance, should I want to put in a worksheet Excel document, all I need to do is simply go into here, create a worksheet Word document, and there it is. So therefore, you have a complete Excel functionality within the Allegroupe general function. Obviously, should you prefer to have an existing document integrated into your main activity, you simply use the import functionality to do so. Therefore, you will contain all the documents that you wish to have within the CRM general information. We just saw that we were able to import or create an Excel spreadsheet, but we could use Acrobat files, PDF, Word documents, or any of the other documents that would need to be saved. This system will allow you to make those saving into the Allegroupe general database. I remind you that the Allegroupe system is a very easy system to use as you go from top to bottom, entering all the information as you need to. For instance, the next step is division and classes. We provide you with a default value of one division, one class, so that if this company is a single division, single class operation, you could skip that portion and get to the next level. The next level is the employer contribution. So if you're using the light or the elite function, you will have the possibility of managing the employer's contribution. Again, we created the default value of 50% of the premium being paid by the employer on an optimized basis. Should we not be pleased with that contribution of 50%, we could go in and make that the necessary changes. In this case here, of course, we are pleased with that, so we'll go to the next step. The next step is to enter the claim history. Claim history is pretty easy to do. We simply go and select, for example, the extended healthcare, and then we start entering the information based on the various fields that are proposed to us. So for instance, I put in 40,000 in premium, 30,000 in benefit paid. We throw in a 20% expense ratio. We say that this is for 2008, 2009, and the ratio method that we'd like to use will be benefit paid on premium. So therefore, we use here benefit paid on gross premium, and the system will give us a 75% loss ratio. The following year, of course, is pretty easy. We enter only 3 pieces of material, and the system will manage every other information for us. So therefore, as we are able to see, the system went from 2009, 2010. We calculated a 70% loss ratio, and then again, we simply throw in the third year into the system. Now, obviously, when you keep those information into the Allegroupe database and you go and renew the contract in the later years, you will simply have to enter the new period, as all of this information will now be kept within your environment. Now, should you decide that you want to have a claim report that you'd like to share with your client or share with the insurance company, well, that's pretty easy again. All you have to do is throw in the date period that you'd like to have those reports. You select the extended healthcare, and bang, the system will provide you with your first claim history report that was created quite easily by simply entering a few data and a few dates. I will remind you that every time you see a report within this presentation and you have a logo, the Seasurance logo is going to be replaced by your own logo, as we obviously want to personalize this document or these documents to reflect your corporation activities. Once we've created the claim history, it's easy. We go into the rating history, and again, we have the same ease of use of entering just a few fields of information. So, for example, here we've got a rate of $50 for the individual and $100 for the family for the period 2008-2009. And then the next year, we're simply going to have a $55 and $110. And again, the system will allow you to go in and change the new contract for a renewal. And then again, the third year, we simply enter 1 or 2 numbers, and that would be sufficient for our needs. If we go into the life portion, we will be talking about rates based on units. So 25 cents per $1,000 unit for 2008, 2009. For the following years, we simply need to enter one single information, which is the new rate, as the system will automatically increment the years for us and allow us to simply focus on one single data input. Once this is done, we go into the contract information, and to do so, it's pretty easy again. We go into a simplified input, and we simply fill in the blanks as far as the benefits are concerned. So obviously here we are in the light version or the simplified input, and all we need to do here is, for example, select the life benefit. We'd like to make this a 2 times salary. We'd like to throw in a minimum coverage of $50,000, a maximum of $100,000 without evidence, and then we'll select for the maximum with evidence at $250,000 out of the drop-down list. Obviously, for any of those fields, you are able to select the information that you would like to do from a drop-down list, or you simply rewrite the information if you need to. So we could throw in here the rate of 23.5. We could go for the dependent life and fill in the blanks again by putting $5,000 for spouses, and then we'll put the children at $2,500, and we do the same with ADD. But the ADD, we don't really need to fill it in, as the system will automatically use the same data as the one that we put in for the life portion. We could then continue with the extended healthcare and so on and so on. Or we could simply use the value that we already saved into a database of information. So let's say I'd like to use the comprehensive plan. We simply click on comprehensive, say OK, and the system automatically fills in the details based on a plan that we already created as a default plan for our needs. Obviously, you are still able to turn around and say, well, this is the default value that I selected, but I could go ahead and make additional changes by simply changing whatever needs to be changed within that file. So again, just go in, make whatever changes you want, and the system will fill in the information or allow you to fill in the information for that specific client of yours. Now, probably what you'd like to do is keep the information about your professional. So for the additional healthcare cost or services, what we did is we provided automatically for you a health specialist list with a, let's say we decide here that we'd like to put in $500 per calendar year with a maximum of $35 per visit. And we are able here to define if we want this to be for the grouping or we'd like to be this to be for each services. We can define this to be by individual or by family. We could decide to put in a deductible, single or deductible family, and then a coinsurance can be applied, let's say, of 80%. By default, we created all these values, all these professional service providers, but should you prefer to remove any of them, you just take them away, or you could decide to add a few more by simply selecting those and then again clicking on the send it to the other side, so that once this is done, obviously we are filling in your contract or your request for proposal with all the information we just decided to create. So this is how easy it is to set up your contract information. Now let's look into how to set up the list of employees. Obviously, the list of employees, you could go in and create your employees one by one. Or better, you could decide to simply import the information from an Excel spreadsheet. To do so, all you need to do is go in, select your database that you'd like to import from Excel, and then you simply click on Next, decide the effective date that you'd like to enter this for, and then we simply ask the system to actually do the processing of that import of that list. As we are able to see, the system will simply go verify all the information in the Excel format. We'll do the importing of the Excel file. We'll validate the fields that are related, and then we'll compare if these fields or these clients already exist. And then first thing you'll know, the system will have already created your database of information. There it is. Now, once this is done, of course, you are now able to do any changes that you want to any of the employees. So let's say you'd like to go with Claude Latour. You will now have a database of information that you are able to view and change whatever portion of information you want, such as, for example, this specific employee is English, so you just create English, and from now on, every single document that will be generated for this specific employee will by default be created in English. Should you prefer to do mass changes to your employees, then you simply go into the employee list editor and simplified list editor, and then you are now in a position to make changes to multiple employees in one shot. So for example, you'd like to change all your employees to English. Well, that's pretty easy to do. You just go in and change those employees to English, and then same thing if you want to change the information about the status of the employee. For example, you was coupled, you want to change that for family, you just throw in and change it for family, and the system will automatically redo all the information that are related to it. Again, as we are able to see, very easy to use, very easy to create a database of information, and all you need to do is fill in the blanks and go from top to bottom as far as the information is concerned into your database of the Allegroupe General CRM.